I'm Hurricane Peter McNeely from Medfield, Mass. On Saturday night, watch me kick Tyson's ass.
Right at Mike Tyson. Stop that nonsense because it was starting to butt heads. Oh, Tyson with a left hooker right up in the mouth.
There are some brutal moments when cocky fighters get taught a brutal lesson by opponents. These fighters, always the loudest in the room, think they can walk all over their opponents with no consequences. But there's a beautiful thing called karma, and let's just say it's not afraid to knock some sense into those inflated egos.
Pues no sabéis lo que os espera.
De golpes reyes progre, pues fíjate.
Está claro, pero
Digo siempre, ¿no? Porque parece que llevan en nada, pues. Heini, lo quieta tampoco. Fíjate que derecha
fíjate.
perfecta,
¿Y por qué no sigue Genes?
Just miss.
Make sure he keeps control.
Time and time again, we've seen these fighters step into the ring with all the confidence in the world, only to get a brutal wake-up call from someone who's just had enough of their nonsense. Take, for example, Badr Hari, who entered the ring with all the cockiness of someone who truly believed he was invincible. Hari, a 36-year-old Moroccan fighter, had a reputation for being one of the most intimidating fighters in the kickboxing world. His massive frame and aggressive fighting style made him a force to be reckoned with. But in this particular fight, his confidence got the best of him.
No, wait until I win. Fuck being humble.
Opposing him in the ring was Arkadiusz Wojcik, a Polish fighter 9 years younger than Hari, who was coming in with a solid record of 13 wins and 5 losses. But Hari didn't care about any of that. No, he was too busy proving that he was the biggest dog in the yard. From the start, it was clear Hari wasn't interested in being humble. He shoved Arkadiusz with all his might, sending a clear message: you don't belong here. The shove wasn't just a playful nudge either. It was a statement, a declaration that Hari was in control, that his opponent was just a stepping stone. But as fate would have it, things didn't go as planned. In a bizarre turn of events, Hari accidentally tripped and fell. That's right, the so-called beast managed to fall flat on his face.
Reach the same as Punk to the ribcage. I can just guarantee.
Furious, Hari came out swinging, but instead of taking control, the rage clouded his judgment. He unleashed a flurry of punches that were meant to dominate, but Arkadiusz, surprisingly, wasn't backing down.
Power.
This fight is over.
In fact, Arkadiusz took the blows and kept coming forward, showing a level of resilience that Hari wasn't expecting. The intensity of Hari's attack started to break Arkadiusz's body down, especially his ribs and liver, but Arkadiusz kept fighting.
All 5 judges. Oh my!
Then we have the story of Merle Grard, a Dutch fighter who made a name for himself in the ring, but unfortunately also made a name for himself with one of the dirtiest tactics imaginable. In a fight against Harut Grigorian, an Armenian fighter, Grard found himself under intense pressure in the first round. Grigorian wasn't giving him any space to breathe, pushing the pace and keeping Grard on the defensive.
Angle out, pivot out. Don't stay centered. Oh, that right hand connected. Big group.
Now, Grard could have respected his opponent, found a way to defend himself, and fought back with dignity, but that's not what happened. Instead, Grard, knowing he was losing ground, decided to take the low road. In a moment of desperation, he knocked Grigorian out from behind, making sure his opponent was unaware and unprepared for the blow. It was a cowardly move, and one that would backfire spectacularly.
It's a knockdown. The champ is down here in round 1.
Grard celebrated immediately, thinking he had won the fight, but the damage had already been done. The fight was tainted, and the scandal spread across social media. Fans demanded a rematch, and after 6 months of intense public pressure, the two fighters squared off again.
We have a new champ in the making. Harut Grigorian hitting the champ. The new welterweight champion of the...
This time, however, Grard wasn't the champion. No, by this point, Grigorian had become determined, having spent the last 6 months training not only for the rematch, but for revenge. The fight was electric from the start, with Grigorian's icy focus unnerving Grard. Let's move on to Zico Bad News Tarf, a fighter who relied heavily on his physical size and tattoos to intimidate his opponents. Zico, known for his massive muscles and loud demeanor, entered the ring with all the arrogance in the world, ready to show off and bully his opponent, Ior Gaspar, a humble Spaniard. From the get-go, Zico wasn't holding back. He shoved Gaspar by the throat, trying to assert dominance and make sure Gaspar knew he was the bigger, stronger fighter. Zico had one job: prove his superiority. Gaspar, on the other hand, had a different plan. He didn't come to the ring to show off, he came to fight. Gaspar tried to take the fight to the ground, twice, but he couldn't quite pull it off. Zico, relying on his size and strength, was getting the better of him, at least at first. But Gaspar wasn't backing down. After Zico's first humiliating loss, he demanded a rematch, certain he could beat Gaspar. But when the two fought again 6 months later, Zico was no longer the humble fighter. No, this time, he was the arrogant one, charging in like a wild animal, expecting Gaspar to crumble. Gaspar, however, had other plans. He stepped into the ring with a calm, focused demeanor, and within moments, Zico's cocky attitude had vanished. Zico was knocked down hard, and Gaspar went on to claim victory once again. Karma had come full circle, and Gaspar had proven that no amount of arrogance can outweigh hard work and respect for your opponent. Zico's humbling lesson was served cold, and it was the perfect example of how cocky fighters are often their own worst enemies. Speaking of cocky behavior, let's talk about Ricardo Mayorga, the Nicaraguan fighter who was known for his disrespectful antics both inside and outside the ring. At one point, Mayorga took things too far by blowing smoke into Shane Mosley's face during a press conference. As if that wasn't enough, Mayorga decided to slap Mosley's wife. If there's one thing you never do, it's disrespect a man's family. And Mosley was about to show Mayorga exactly what happens when you cross that line. In the ring, Mosley was calm, collected, and ready for revenge. With a cold focus, Mosley made sure Mayorga paid for his actions. With one punch, Mosley broke several of Mayorga's ribs, making sure that not only did Mayorga get physically punished, but he also got a harsh lesson in respect. Mosley's victory wasn't just about reclaiming the title, it was about showing the world that disrespecting someone's family would never go unpunished.
Not quite at 100%.
And finally, Michael Venom Page, the flashy fighter known for his entertaining style and cocky attitude, learned a harsh lesson when he faced Douglas Lima. Page was all about putting on a show, dancing around the ring, and amusing the crowd with his footwork.
Your cocky behavior made that clear.
At all times, obey my commands at all times.
But Lima, who had a more traditional and focused approach, wasn't interested in playing Page's games. Lima took the fight to the ground and knocked Page out cold in the second round. Page, once undefeated, was left with his first loss and a bruised ego. It was a stark reminder that no matter how flashy your style is, the fundamentals always win.
Don't know if he's on a fracture in his face.
Oh my! Connected! Hey, Grudhart is dead!
Then we have Andre Movic, who faced off against Hanan in a fight that quickly became a lesson in humility for the cocky Hanan. Hanan, who had been undefeated at the time, thought he could outclass Movic with some dirty tactics. But Movic wasn't having it. Hanan's underhanded tactics backfired spectacularly, as Movic used his superior strength and technique to put Hanan in his place. With each strike, Movic sent a clear message: don't mess with someone who's better than you. And in the end, Hanan learned the hard way that dirty moves might work in the short term, but they'll never win you the fight in the long run. These stories are just a few of the countless examples of cocky fighters being put in their place. The moral of the story? Humble yourself or be humble. Arrogance may get you attention, but it'll never win you respect. In the ring, respect for your opponent is everything. And the moment you forget, that it is the moment karma comes calling.